In today's drag racing age of specialized everything, from fly-in drivers, specialty engine builders, and fabricators, I'm going to introduce you to a guy who's truly old school. Mark Niver built the entire chassis for this car. He built the wing, he built the rear end housing, built the injector and the fuel pumps, among many of the other parts of this car. Now Mark, with his wife Tanis, who was the original crew for this car, you guys are like a walk-in history book.
Yeah, we've been doing this since '72. We've raced some of the very best. Ken Binney, Dale Armstrong, Billy Williams, Rick Santos. Along the way, we got to race Shirley Muldowney in a top fuel car. And now, along with family and crew, we're still at it.
And now he has more family and friends to be his crew. And you'd think that a guy like Mark would be satisfied with just building the car, but not him. On his off weekends, he even built the truck that hauls the race car to the track.
And now he's going to the semifinals here in San Francisco with a 5:23, 270.
That is a crushing run right there. What a story he is becoming. 5.23 seconds at 270 miles an hour. Puts him in a very exclusive group of guys that have made those kind of runs. That is the quickest run that he's ever made. He has been faster, but off the starting line, slight advantage for Brandon Johnson. You saw the cylinders drop for Brandon Johnson's car, and Mark Niver now has won 6 consecutive rounds, going back to the 4 in Seattle, 2 here, and right now that car is just about flawless. You're going to see the car on this side. There's those cylinders out right over there, and that is just a death knell for the cars in this class. So the two guys that met up in the finals at the Winter Nationals a couple of years ago, when Brandon Johnson got the win, nice move, carries that front end just a little bit off the starting line. Now watch there, you see the cylinders on that bank over there. As soon as you start pushing out that raw fuel, you're not hitting it all 8. When the guy in the other lane's running 5:23, you cannot afford a mistake. Mark Niver having a career year.
That is low elapsed time by a 1/10 of a second. Alcohol Dragsters semifinals now, and we begin with Danny Valadez. Can he pull the upset over Mark Niver? Niver does come in with a better car.
That is an old race car. Used to belong to a group called the Berkey Bunch, who raced it in Top Fuel. Danny also ran Super Comp here this weekend. Knows that he's living a dream, and they were looking under the race car, and that's never a good sign. But he said we're going to try to fire it up and go up there. Mark Niver right now has got to be a nervous wreck because he has got the better car by a bunch, expected to win this, but when another guy takes out the one qualifier when he breaks, gets the bye run, I mean, like I always say, we have this silly rule about not giving you the win until you actually cross the finish line. There are your pairings for this round.
Niver picking his lane. Dwayne Shields will pick his coming up in a matchup right after this. Right now, let's check in down at the far end.
We're here with Dennis Taylor. 5:56. That's good enough for lane choice. How are you feeling about this final pair up?
Well, you know, Jay's an awful tough customer, but I tell you what, Terry Morrow, crew chief on this Plumbing Concepts car, has done an outstanding job all weekend. 261 miles an hour. That's the best speed we've ever run. And we certainly never put this many 550s together. So tickled is what I'd call us right now.
You going to throw any more at the car for this final run of the day?
Well, if I told you that, I'd be giving away all my secrets.
All right, I guess we'll have to wait and find out.
Besides, yes, that's Terry, because he doesn't know.
Good point. Good point. He can tell us those secrets, too, on a tech tip coming up at a race in the future.
Dave Zapatini will move Danny Valadez up to the starting line with a race car that is 12 years old. And I talked to him earlier today. If we get a green light, you never can tell what's going to happen. And Mark Niver, like I said, has to be a nervous wreck. The better car by a bunch, but he knows that he has got to turn that win light on at the end of the racetrack to go to back-to-back final rounds. How cool would that be?
Love to be a fly on the wall on that campus. Mark Niver really has something going right now.
And he gives Jim Rizzoli a lot of credit, too, for what they've been doing. Well, let's see how low he can go.
Hole out from the beginning. Not going to be the best run, 5:59, 257, but it doesn't have to be the best run of your weekend when you cross the finish line first.
Nope. They don't ask you how quick you went. They just ask you how many rounds you go. And you were right, Dave. He had that cylinder out from the moment that he hit the throttle and just never really did recover. You can see it over there on the left-hand side of the racetrack out of the right bank. Still managed to make a very representative run at 5:59 and 250. See that? Boy, that is just nasty. It's going to pump like that all the way down the racetrack. Never did wind up picking up that cylinder, and he still gets the win. And that might be the one lucky round that he needed.
Hate to sound anticlimactic, but when we just saw those 520s from a round ago, and we were Well, pretty much expecting those kinds of things again. But like I said, for Mark Niver, though, the role that this team on has continued. That's their 3rd final this year. And for a guy who didn't win for 30 years, he now has an opportunity to put his 3rd one on the board here this year. Pretty good accomplishment.
Here with Mark Niver, 5:59. Looked like he had a little trouble going through the traps there, but still a great run for you.
Well, we detuned a little bit. That's a run we should win, but as you know, there are no freebies. And so we detuned it probably too far, and so we'll see if we can hop it up for the final. And we'll hope for the best.
Did you steal that hat from somewhere?
Absolutely. If you see the bald dome, you'd know why.
And for what it's worth, Bob Fry's wearing a hat today as well.
Don't make me come over there.